to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. Our guest is on the line. A little mix-up in communications, but Tim Davis is here with us. Tim has coached and mentored top professionals in business, sales, and show business. He's a certified behavioral analyst, a DISC expert, a stand-up comedian, and the CEO of his own tech company, CMIT Solutions, West Midtown Manhattan. He has a very wide range experience, everything from being a cab driver to a comedy club manager, and he has a very interesting take on how to use comedy, and we're also going to talk about a little bit the difference between comedy and humor. But I wanted to get him on the show today because he recently went through some personal changes, and I really wanted to talk to him about the personal stuff. I hope that's okay, Tim.
Oh, yeah, I'm very eager to talk about it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So I know what you sort of personally went through recently. You decided to make a change in life. And I'm wondering if you can talk to our audience a little bit about sort of what led up to that choice and what you were really thinking when you decided to make that choice.
Well, there are a lot of prejudices in the world. African Americans feel that they're racial prejudices, and Jewish Americans feel there's anti-Semitism, and women feel that there's prejudice against them, in the workplace and other things. But that is a pimple on an elephant's ass compared to the prejudice against fat people.
What?
Everybody hates fat people.
Everybody?
Fat people hate fat people. Even Shakespeare hates fat people because he wanted to give up a pound of flesh. I was 415 pounds, and my doctor looks at me and he starts quoting Shawshank Redemption. He says, "You either got to get busy dying or you got to get busy living." He says, "You're about 40 pounds from a wheelchair." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like when you're fat, and the worst thing that can happen to you when you're fat is you have a stain on your shirt. People look at you like you couldn't even wait to get it in your mouth. And like all day when I walk around with that way, at least 3 times a day, people would come up with diet plans. Hey, why don't you call my cousin? I got a great... fat people know every diet in the world, but everybody's got a diet plan that's going to make me lose all this weight. You know what I mean?
Hey, Tim.
Very nice, you know what I mean?
Hey, Tim,
so,
you know why diets...
I would do that.
Hey, Tim, you know why diets don't work?
Why?
Just look at the first 3 letters.
D-I-E, right. But I mean, like I would get on the subway and sit down and people would look at you and go, "Jesus, how many seats are you going to take up?" And you really know how fat you are. I really knew how fat I was. I got up one day and 7 people sat down.
All right. But now, Tim, just to be fair to you, how tall are you?
I'm 6'5", but
so
I was 415 pounds. I mean, wow. I really, I had some anxiety in life. I got a little depressed, and then I just couldn't stop eating. So anyway, my doctor looked at me, and he goes, "Tim, you got to..." So I decided to get the bariatric surgery. Right. I got the sleeve surgery. There's 3 kinds. There's the bypass, the bariatric, and then there's the lap band. Okay. So... It took 5 months of testing before they even let me have the operation. You have to go through a lot before you can do these things.
Wow.
Yeah,
I know. And I know also, like, they put you on a special diet before the surgery.
Yeah, I lost 35 pounds before the operation because the nutrition, they say, see, right now they're not going to I mean, what happened was a lot of people just went in for it and they really weren't prepared for it. So they want to see a lifestyle change even before you go. Like I had to go to a psychiatrist. You have to go to blood work.
You have to get counseling.
Osteopath. Wow. All of these doctors, and then you have to get weighed every month for 6 months to show them, what that you're losing weight before you go in for the surgery.
Wow!
I went in for the surgery, and so I lost 35 pounds before the surgery, and then I've lost 65 pounds since the surgery, which was February 3rd. So I've lost a total of 100 pounds.
Wow! Congratulations!
Yeah,
so,
it's it was the best thing I ever did.
I saw you. You updated your profile picture on something recently, and I saw it, and I go, "Wow! Tim lost a lot of weight."
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight. Yeah. I mean, what a difference in You know, and the other day I got on the subway and there was a guy sitting across from me who was a big guy like me, and you know, his weight was the same weight that I could see myself. Oh my God, this was going to be me if I didn't lose that weight.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
I mean, know, you've been big for a while. Like, this wasn't anything relatively new. Was there something that
but not that big. I was never that big.
Ah, okay.
You know, I mean, I had gained like 60 pounds, 70 pounds. I was really, you know,
over how long?
A lot with work, anxiety.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean? And then, you know, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. You know, so the only thing left was food. You know, I mean, that was how I was dealing with issues. Now, you know, you have to. One thing is you have to really deal with whatever's bothering you because you can't eat your feelings anymore.
Right. So I'm just wondering though, was there something? I mean, was it just your doctor saying like you got to do something? But was there? I mean, but to make that decision, to decide like, you know what? I need the help. I need to do something. Let me do this. There must have been something inside of you that finally said enough is enough. Because I'm sure there are other people who are in the exact same situation who end up not doing the surgery.
Well, I read an article that they have. There's a hospital somewhere, or I don't know if it's a hospital, but like where these very overweight older people are just lying in bed, and they have to have these muscle builders, you know, turn them over.
Oh wow!
And they just lie in bed waiting to die. They can't even, you
Jeez.
know. And like, you know what I mean? And I read that, and I knew if I didn't do something, I mean, how much farther was I going to go? I mean, you know, I mean, it's like it's welfare. It's, you know, I mean, you know, you're in some kind of hospice in the Bronx somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so it got to a point where I looked at myself. I mean, do I want to spend the last years of my life, you know, just doing that, or do I want to at least try, you know, do I have it in me one more time to get better?
Wow. Great.
Yeah.
And I'm just
curious. I can tell you this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just curious then, once you finally made the decision and you made the commitment that you were going to do this, did you feel differently inside? Did something sort of shift within you?
Yeah. Well, you know what it is like, you know, our mothers always say, don't eat sugar. Well, that's what happened is you can't eat. So after a while, you're just eating protein shakes because that's the only thing you can keep down. And then you try to eat something and the sugar content is like, ugh. Yeah. You know, like eggs don't even taste good anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like everything, you know, wow, but that's about it. I can't eat chicken. I don't like chicken anymore.
Okay.
And so bread and butter is gone. And, you know, so, but I've heard that other people have lost this weight and then they've never changed their eating habits and gained the weight back. So it's not a done deal. You really have to be very active. You know, it gives you a chance to have a lifestyle, but if you can lapse right back into that same old
that old eating, those old habits, because it's hard because we develop those habits over years and years and years, and it really takes either extreme pain or just an extreme strong will and commitment to say, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I deserve better. I want better. I want to change. And then you got to just go for it and keep reminding yourself, like every minute of every day, this is what I want.
You know, it's really, you know, I'm a behavioral coach, right?
Right.
So it doesn't matter what happens. It only matters how you react to what happens. And so when I get, you know, when I have anxiety or I'm dealing with issues and stuff like that, well, how do I react to it? Well, I react to it by eating. And so it's breaking that you know, that connection between anxiety and food. Right. I know a guy who is really, you know, a big man like me, and he says to me, you know, people keep coming up with these diets, and I tell them, yeah, I'm eating because I've got a wife, 3 kids, 3 businesses, and you know, and about 200 people bothering me every day. And I laugh because I know what he was talking about. I mean, because when you run businesses, the only place you go to get like a little time to yourself is like you go out to eat something. Right. So you have to really decide that you have to find another way.
Another way to find what works for you, what can serve you. I'm curious, now that you've done it and you're thinner, how do you feel about yourself? What, has changed about your own sort of self-image? Just in a couple of minutes we have before we go to our break.
Well, I tell you what I feel about myself. What I've gotten to the point in my life is if I get upset about something, I know that I'm going to get over it, so I don't really have to act on it. Like, for instance, we got a very volatile political season right now.
Right.
And if you turn on the cable channels and you watch it, whatever your political persuasion is, you can get yourself upset. So like now I know, like, there's nothing I can do about it. I was telling one young fellow the other day, are you worried about the environment? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, I'm not. He goes, you're not? No. The environment's going to be around for 20 more years. That's what I got left. It's your turn. It's your turn to get worried about it, not me. I can't do anything about it anymore.
Right. So it's a learning
things that bother me, like somebody blocking the subway door. I don't, I know that getting upset, and the fact that I'm a comedian, I know I can say something very sharp to people, and I don't want to do that because they don't have any defense against somebody who can come back at them. That's why even when I was fat, people would say things to me, I wouldn't say anything back to them. Right.
But you can also use comedy to create some levity in the situation, not necessarily to get at them, but just to kind of change the energy.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of comedians use, you can also use comedy to get over that. People say something. It's like, look at Donald Trump. He attacks everybody, right? Well, comedy, you get like, you want to say something to me, I'll say something back. But now I don't do that. Because I know that person saying something is not a comedian. So whatever I say to them, it's going to hurt more because it doesn't hurt me. You build up a. It doesn't affect you anymore because you've been in comedy for so many years. Somebody saying something doesn't wash with you. So
okay,
but I do feel much better about myself. It's really
good. All right, we're going to talk about that a little bit more. We're going to go out for a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the new Tim Davis and how he's different from the old Tim Davis. Okay.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. Everybody, please stay tuned. You're listening to the Conscious Consultant Hour, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Talk